One of my patients, a 73-year-old woman named Gloria, came to me frustrated. She had been trying to stop the muscle loss for 2 years. She had bought the protein powders, she had tried the supplements, she had increased her chicken and eggs, and she was still getting weaker, still struggling with the stairs, still feeling like her body was working against her no matter what she did. I told her to try one thing, not a new supplement, not a complicated meal plan, one specific protocol, one day. Just try it for one day and tell me how you feel. She called me 3 days later. She said she had done it every day since we spoke. She said something had shifted, not dramatically, not overnight, but something real. That protocol is what I'm going to give you today. Every detail, every timing, every reason why it works when everything else is not. And I want to be direct with you before we begin. Every day you are not doing this, you are losing ground. Sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that affects 1 in 3 adults over 60, does not pause while you think about it. It does not wait while you finish the protein powder you already bought. It is happening right now, quietly, continuously, and the window to reverse it is always today, not next week. Today. But here's what I also want you to hear. This is not complicated. The reason most seniors fail to stop muscle loss is not lack of effort. It is because they have been given advice that is either wrong for their age or so overwhelming it never becomes consistent action. What I am about to give you is one day, repeatable, affordable. Simple enough that you will actually do it tomorrow too. Let us go through it hour by hour. Why everything you have been told about protein timing is incomplete. Before the protocol, you need to understand one thing because it explains why the timing in this plan is not arbitrary. It is the difference between the protocol working and not working. After 60, your muscles have developed anabolic resistance. They no longer respond to protein the way they did at 40. A young muscle can take a modest amount of protein, absorb it efficiently, and build. An aging muscle needs a stronger, more specific signal. It needs more leucine per meal to activate the mTOR pathway, your body's master switch for muscle building. It needs protein arriving at regular intervals so there is never a gap where breakdown accelerates unchecked. And it needs that protein arriving alongside specific conditions, reduced inflammation, adequate circulation, and the right hormonal environment that amplify the building signal. Most seniors eat too little protein at breakfast, too little at lunch, and try to compensate with a large dinner. This pattern is the single most common reason muscle building fails over 60. Your muscles can only use approximately 30 grams of protein at one time for synthesis. The rest is processed as energy or waste. A large dinner does not make up for a protein-empty morning. The overnight muscle breakdown that started while you slept simply continued all day. This protocol solves that with precise timing across 4 windows. Here is your day. Window 1, within 60 minutes of waking at the ignition meal. This is the most important meal of the day for fighting sarcopenia. Your body has been fasting for 7 to 9 hours. Muscle breakdown has been running since approximately 3 a.m. The moment you eat protein, you can flip that switch. But most seniors waste this window entirely. Your ignition meal must deliver at least 25 to 30 grams of complete protein and at least 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine. This is the threshold that research consistently shows is necessary to activate muscle protein synthesis in adults over 60. Below this threshold, you get a partial signal. The engine sputters but does not fully turn over. Here is what the ignition meal looks like. 2 to 3 whole eggs cooked in a small amount of real butter or olive oil. Do not discard the yolks. The yolk contains choline for muscle nerve signaling, vitamin D for muscle protein synthesis, and leucine-rich protein clusters that amplify the building response by 40% compared to egg whites alone. This is not opinion. This is a published University of Illinois finding that rewrote how we think about whole egg consumption. Add 1 cup of low-fat cottage cheese alongside or mixed with the eggs. This brings your total leucine to approximately 3.5 grams, well above the activation threshold. It adds 24 to 28 grams of casein protein that will continue releasing amino acids for the next 6 to 8 hours, bridging you to your next meal without a breakdown gap. And it requires no cooking. Open the container and eat. Add a small handful of berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. The anthocyanins reduce the low-grade inflammation that directly suppresses muscle protein synthesis in aging tissue. Think of them as clearing the interference so your muscle building signal can be received clearly. Total preparation time, 5 to 8 minutes. Total protein 32 to 36 grams. Leucine delivered above threshold. Inflammation actively reduced. Muscle breakdown from overnight stopped. This is your ignition. You have flipped the switch from catabolic to anabolic before 8 in the morning. Window 2, the movement window, 10 minutes. That changes everything. 2 to 3 hours after your ignition meal, before you have eaten again, I want you to do 10 minutes of resistance movement, not a gym workout, not anything that requires equipment you do not have or energy reserves you are still rebuilding. 10 minutes. Here is what 10 minutes looks like. 10 slow chair stands where you rise from a seated position and lower yourself back down with control. 10 wall push-ups, 10 standing calf raises using a counter for balance, 10 seated leg extensions if you are in a chair. Rest is needed between each set. The total elapsed time is 10 minutes. The total physical demand is gentle. Here's why this matters so profoundly. Resistance movement, even at this minimal level, triggers a cascade of events in muscle tissue that dramatically amplifies the protein you ate at breakfast. It increases blood flow to muscle tissue, delivering the amino acids still circulating from your morning meal directly to where they are needed. Because it activates satellite cells, the stem cells responsible for muscle repair that become less responsive with age, and it creates a state of heightened muscle sensitivity to protein that lasts for up to 48 hours. A study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that even a single bout of low-intensity resistance exercise in adults over 70 increased muscle protein synthesis by 50% for the following 24 to 48 hours. 50%. From 10 minutes of gentle movement, the protein you ate at breakfast is not fully utilized by your muscles sitting still. Movement is the delivery mechanism. It opens the door. The protein walks through. If you have joint pain, balance concerns, or mobility limitations, every one of these movements can be modified to seated positions. The muscle activation is less than standing versions, but the signal is still real and still meaningful. Something is always better than nothing, and something done consistently is better than a perfect workout done twice a month. Do this movement window every single day, even on days when energy is low, especially on days when energy is low. Muscle responds to consistent, frequent, moderate stimulus far better than it responds to occasional intense effort. Window 3, the midday protein bridge, stopping the afternoon breakdown. By midday, the initial wave of amino acids from your ignition meal has peaked. The casein from cottage cheese is still releasing, which is protecting you. But this is the window where most seniors inadvertently create a protein gap that allows muscle breakdown to resume. Your midday meal needs to deliver another 25 to 30 grams of protein. Not a light salad, not crackers and soup, a real protein anchor. The best midday option for this protocol is one small can of wild canned salmon or sardines. Either fish provides 23 to 25 grams of complete, highly bioavailable protein in a format that requires zero preparation. Open the can. Eat it over a small green salad with olive oil and lemon. Add half a cup of cooked lentils on the side if appetite allows. Here's what this combination does. The fish protein delivers a complete amino acid profile with high leucine to reactivate the mTOR pathway at midday. The omega-3 fatty acids from wild-caught fish reverse anabolic resistance in aging muscle cells, making them more responsive to the protein arriving now and for the rest of the day. The lentils provide resistant starch that improves insulin sensitivity, ensuring amino acids are being shuttled efficiently into muscle tissue rather than being converted to glucose. And the olive oil supports absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins in the fish, particularly vitamin D, which 60 to 70% of seniors are deficient in and which directly activates muscle protein synthesis. If sardines or salmon feel too strong for midday, substitute with a cup of plain Greek yogurt and a boiled egg. The protein delivery is similar. The omega-3 content is lower, but the probiotic profile of the Greek yogurt supports the gut-muscle axis that improves overall protein utilization across every meal. Eat this midday meal within 4 hours of your ignition meal. Do not let more than 4 hours pass between protein deliveries. Anabolic resistance means your muscles need consistent signaling. A 4-hour gap with no protein is enough for breakdown to resume and begin erasing the morning's progress. Window 4, the overnight rebuild, the meal that works while you sleep. This is the window that Gloria had been neglecting entirely before we spoke, and it is the one that most dramatically changed her experience within the first 3 days. Dinner should be your second largest protein meal of the day, 30 grams minimum, delivered through real whole food, a palm-sized serving of baked salmon, roasted chicken thighs, or lean beef alongside a generous portion of cooked vegetables. Spinach, broccoli, or Brussels sprouts specifically. These provide magnesium for overnight muscle contraction recovery, folate for DNA repair in muscle cells, and nitrates that convert to nitric oxide and improve blood flow to muscles during the early hours of sleep. But dinner is not the final window. The final and most underused window is 30 to 45 minutes before bed. 1 cup of cottage cheese, plain, with a small handful of walnuts. This is the overnight anchor. The casein in cottage cheese forms a gel in your stomach and releases amino acids continuously for 6 to 8 hours while you sleep. Every hour of sleep, your muscles are receiving a slow drip of leucine and essential amino acids. The overnight muscle breakdown that normally occurs during the fasting hours of sleep is interrupted. Your body does not need to cannibalize muscle tissue for amino acids because amino acids are arriving steadily from the cottage cheese still digesting in your stomach. The walnuts provide ellagic acid that your gut bacteria convert into urolithin. Overnight, a compound shown in nature medicine to restore mitochondrial function in aging muscle cells. Better mitochondria means better cellular energy production, means faster muscle repair during sleep. Dutch researchers gave older adults cottage cheese before bed and measured overnight muscle protein synthesis. The results were significant and consistent. Muscle was building during sleep rather than breaking down. Morning muscle mass was preserved. Over weeks and months, this single habit produced measurable differences in strength and function. This is not a large meal. It does not disrupt sleep. It takes 90 seconds to prepare, and it turns your 7 to 9 hours of sleep from a period of muscle loss into a period of muscle repair. The complete protocol at a glance within 60 minutes of waking: 2 to 3 whole eggs plus 1 cup cottage cheese plus berries, 30 plus grams protein, leucine above threshold, inflammation reduced, 2 to 3 hours after breakfast, 10 minutes of resistance movement, chair stands, wall push-ups, calf raises opens the protein delivery highway to muscle tissue. Midday, within 4 hours of breakfast, 1 can wild salmon or sardines plus salad with olive oil plus half cup lentils, 25 plus grams protein, omega-3s, reverse anabolic resistance, midday mTOR reactivation. Dinner, 30 plus grams protein from whole food, cooked leafy greens or cruciferous vegetables, magnesium, folate, even nitrates for overnight muscle environment. 30 to 45 minutes before bed, 1 cup cottage cheese plus small handful walnuts, 6 to 8 hour casein release, overnight muscle breakdown stopped, mitochondrial repair supported. Total daily protein from this protocol, approximately 100 to 110 grams, distributed across 4 windows, never more than 4 hours between deliveries during waking hours. Overnight protected by slow release casein. Try it for 1 day. I'm not asking you to commit to a new lifestyle today. I'm not asking you to overhaul your kitchen or spend money you do not have. I'm asking you to try this exact protocol for 1 day, tomorrow. Buy the cottage cheese today, buy the canned salmon, make sure you have eggs. The total cost of this protocol is under $10 a day, less than most protein supplements that are delivering a fraction of the results. Do the 10 minutes of movement, not because it feels significant in the moment, but because the research is unambiguous about what it does to protein utilization for the next 48 hours. Eat the cottage cheese before bed, even if it feels unusual. Even if you are not hungry, 1 cup, 30 to 45 minutes before sleep. That single habit done every night is the difference between sleeping through muscle loss and sleeping through muscle repair. Gloria told me the shift she noticed first was the mornings. She woke up less stiff. Getting out of bed required less effort. The stairs she had been dreading were still there, but they asked less of her. That is what consistent overnight protein repair feels like from the inside, not dramatic. Not sudden, but real, accumulating, building toward a body that serves you rather than limits you. Sarcopenia is not your fate. It is a process, and every process can be interrupted. This protocol interrupts it at every critical point across your waking day and your sleeping night. Try it for one day. I am Dr. Kelsey Olalade. Share this with someone who is fighting the same battle and come back and tell me in the comments how your first day felt. I will be reading every single one.